Before we jump into this video, you can get your very own Greco-Turkish empire by checking that link down below to makeship.com. They don't necessarily need to be rivals. You can get them and make them friends. Especially because if you buy one, the other is discounted. That actually might be the only way Greece and Turkey will ever be friends. Get them before they're literally gone forever. So I've built this monster of a country not just by uniting Greece and Turkey in the modern day. I actually decided, what if we combined these two empires when they were both at their peak? So for the nation of Greece, we have Alexander's empire, which extended all the way to modern day Pakistan and Persia. And for Turkey, we go back to their Ottoman Empire peak, where they had a bunch of the Balkans and a lot of coastal North African territory. I've actually never done a scenario like this before, but I really like it, especially because there's a lot of crossover territory that these two had, but there are some pretty major differences at the same time. So Greece is really extending this new empire way out east, touching now India over this way, also pretty high up into Central Asia as well. Meanwhile, the Turks are really pulling in a lot of the Balkans and the North Black Sea region. They both had this part of Egypt, but the Ottomans really extended outward all the way towards Moroccan territory. So let's see how this former rivalry unites to fight and kill everyone on Earth before they fight and kill each other, I guess. Now, in terms of area, this Greco-Turkish empire is the 5th largest in the world, just ahead of Brazil right here. But man, they've got a lot of options to attack. They've got a lot of neighbors. Russia will definitely be a pretty big rival, that's for sure, though. And so we begin. Everyone is grabbing up coastal territory. There's definitely gonna be some fighting that happens between the Greeks/Turks and the Italians for the Adriatic Sea, or just the Mediterranean Sea in general. We've already got a war between Estonia, Latvia, as well as Hungary and Slovakia, which they've got a pretty big bite taken out by them. Oh yeah, well there you go. Instantly, Slovakia was conquered by Hungary. Maybe they're not doing too bad. Sudan is going after the leftover territory that Egypt controls. Their capital of Cairo is probably gonna instantly fall to the Greco-Turks, Greek/Turks. It's weird to say Greco. Maybe the US feels threatened by this new power in the Middle East because they have instantly declared war on Canada. Actually, Canada is winning this war, taking a lot of the East Coast, a lot of Michigan, a lot of Ohio. Wow, they were literally forced to peace out because the Canadians were kicking their butt. Holy crap. And the UK just went insane, taking over Ireland and the Netherlands at the same time. Well, I think a lot of that was due to Germany. They got some help from them. Now, the Ottomans and Greeks still don't have any friends just yet, but it's still a little bit early at the same time. None of the big powers in this region have any friends. And there are a lot of notifications. This is hard to keep up with. A lot of powers dying here in Africa. We have the Caribbean nations going at it. Cuba and Haiti trying to fight off the Bahamas, and they did that successfully. The Bahamas are dead. Also, Panama going after Colombia with the help of Ecuador as wow. So there goes Colombia, but unfortunately Peru took out Ecuador. So now the rivalry continues. Wow, that was a really weird four-way war. Smaller powers around the Ivory Coast are dying out. Meanwhile, I believe Croatia took out Slovenia. So we lost Slovenia and Slovakia instantly. No confusing those two names for this video. But then I am me, so I would not be surprised if I find some way to do that. The Vietnamese took out Cambodia pretty fast. I don't even know when that happened. Also, Malaysia was losing a little bit of territory to Brunei. France is actually trying to be, well, they are about to get kicked out of South America by Suriname. I feel like France never takes over South America, even though they have a good chance to do it if they really wanted. That French Guyana territory is a pretty big advantage. I feel like whenever I make a custom nation like this, it always takes them a couple years before they really get ready. I think they got to figure out the dynamics first. But then again, India, China, and Russia all doing the same thing. Russia does have two new friends, Poland and Lithuania, who will win out in South America. There's always a major player that can win the game down here since they're pretty cornered off, although we need to watch out because the map is crossing over. This is France territory technically. I forgot that France technically has this island, so they're the ones that wrap around for now. France did get kicked out of South America though, so maybe they'll get their revenge and come back and attack Peru. Uh-oh, we have our first war, the first Greco-Turkish war. They're actually already losing territory, both up here to Poland. Oh, and they're pushing back a little bit. Oh, so is this why Russia allied to Poland? Because they knew they'd be able to have another enemy, forcing them to have two fronts open. Now, they might instantly, oof. Okay, so the Greeks and Turks instantly took out Poland, and they're going to get a lot of this stuff here. They're still at war with Russia, and they are slowly pushing back, trying to regain some of these lands, but the Caucasus Mountains here, making that somewhat difficult, as well as the Black Sea since there's no crossing. Okay, so they got a little bit bigger, not too big though. There's still 120 nations left down here. Brazil is now finally making moves as they've taken out both Paraguay, and now they're just fighting Bolivia and Argentina. We have the Swiss dying, as well as France and Italy getting into it. Germany's just allied to Croatia. Last time that happened, a lot of horrible things happened. We also have Mongolia turning back into, well, maybe Genghis Khan. Has Genghis Khan been revived? I don't know, because now they're getting pushed away. Taiwan is now dead. China took them out. Also, the Philippines are gone. Japan has taken over all of the Korean Peninsula. I've never seen them do that. Usually that doesn't happen. Now, will the Greeks and Turks help out Mongolia here? This is really like a Byzantine Empire that's going on. I'm now just realizing that they're just extending way out east. east. That's only the big difference. Belgium is, wow, Belgium just took over all of France. Okay, that is a very thick French-speaking Belgium. The U.S. is still a little bit in kind of trouble as the Canadians are kind of knocking on that Washington, D.C. doorstep. Probably have a little bit of a rivalry between Madagascar and Australia for the Indian Ocean here. Also, the Russians are attacking Ukraine. Now, if Ukraine falls, the Greeks and Turks are going to pick up at least half of that land. Oh, man. Okay, so now they actually have some friends. They're allying to Germany, Croatia, Norway, and weirdly Libya, who they can instantly take out at any moment because they are surrounding their capital. They haven't decided to do that just yet. There's going to be some pretty big wars in the meantime, though. They might need to worry a little bit about Sudan, especially if Sudan regains territory of South Sudan, although they are losing this conflict for now. Oh my goodness, and Russia has just collapsed. This changes literally everything. Now, China's going to get a little bit of this, but so is Japan. It's mostly going to be Mongolia and Kazakhstan that's going to get a lot. Okay, I got to see where this world settles to figure out exactly by area who's technically winning the match right now. That doesn't mean everything, but it's still interesting to look at. Okay, so China got a lot of Greater Manchuria. Mongolia and Kazakhstan pretty much doubled or maybe even tripled in size. Sorry, Latvia maybe quadruple or whatever. What goes after 5-6 times? So in terms of area, Canada's number 1, then Mongolia, then China, then the Greco-Turkish Empire. They're in 4th. They did jump the U.S. because, you know, obviously the U.S. has been losing some wars. Oh, they're allied now. That's interesting. So the Greeks and Turks, it's really just hard to say that name in general. Oh, wow. Look at this weird alliance. Now the Germans and Italians are their friends. That's a big team. We have Ukraine now fighting Kazakhstan. South Africa growing quite a bit down here in the south of this continent. Bam! And there goes Venezuela. Whoa! Chill, Puerto Rico. Chill. So Puerto Rico doesn't like what their dad, the USA, has been doing. They've been losing all these wars. They said, I'm going to do it myself. We're just going to take over South America all by myself. Bam! And they even just got Suriname. That's crazy. We have another war. Still wars going on between, I guess I should say, Ukraine and Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan looks like they're winning. Let's see if the Greeks and Turks take over Ukraine. Maybe if they just got to start a war. Now, their economy is doing pretty good. I'm sure it's not number 1 in the world. There's still 86 nations left. They are 3rd, though. It's Brazil and China that are technically the richest on Earth. Obviously, it only takes 1 or 2 wars to make someone really poor, though. So that doesn't really mean much right now. Ooh, interesting. Myanmar's trying to squeeze over here and take Bangladesh. Oh, Bangladesh is being funded, who I believe is probably Vietnam. They're probably giving them money away. Yep, that's it. Bam! We have Latvia now moving in after Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan's fighting a 2-front war, actually. And now, oh, actually, the Greeks and Turks, they are fighting. They're fighting Morocco, but they have to worry about Spain at the very same time. Spain's pretty strong because they took out Portugal and they got southern France. A big old peace deal there. The Greeks and Turks, they have some friends, but not the biggest of friends. They could really use an alliance with India, but India right now is just currently allied to Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan's fighting a really hard 2-front war. Why haven't you tried to fight this? Go after them. Ooh, Japan versus China. Once again, World War II status. Japan is pretty close to Beijing, but we'll see. They might start to lose a little bit of this front. We have Brazil fighting multiple fronts. Again, all the Spanish-speaking countries, which actually the northern part is Puerto Rico. They are a Spanish-speaking country, but I don't normally expect to see them up here. Brazilians are winning. They took out Argentina. Mexico's actually lost some land to Belize, surprisingly enough. And there goes both Bangladesh and Nepal. India's growing in strength. Now we have the Germans and Italians fighting back the Spanish. Technically, the Greeks and Turks can help out with this war, but they have to push through Morocco to get to Iberia. Oh boy, the Spanish they might just take out their Italian allies. Yep, the Italian allies are gone. There's definitely going to be a big new rivalry, although the Greeks and Turks did benefit from the fall there because they got Sicily and the foot of the boot. Now it's the Greeks and Spanish fighting for modern-day French territory. Norway's looking strong, but not really that strong. They're not going to be able to do that much up here. There's 68 nations left. Meanwhile, Japan is at war with Mongolia. Also, India and Myanmar getting into it for modern-day Bangladesh territory. Oh, big war here in Europe as the Greeks and Turks trying to take out Czechia. How is Czechia fighting both sides like this? Oh, I guess they are getting the help of Latvia. Norway's involved as well. Okay, they might lose a Nordic brother. Yep, there goes Oslo. That is completely fallen. And the Germans might be next. Oh, wait, who was that just died? Oh, that was the Germans. This is Denmark here. And the Greeks and Turks are going to take out Czechia, so that extends their territory in Europe. Now they're going to have to keep on fighting. They have to fight Denmark and Latvia at the same time. Better hope you don't have to fight anyone else. See, that's the problem in this part of the map. Okay, well, at least an ally is going to grow for you. Libya down here protects you slightly from some of the African powers. They do get pretty strong, so they need to watch that. Sierra Leone getting pretty thick. Bam, another war between Latvia and Ukraine against Kazakhstan. Turkmenistan might be finally falling soon. There still isn't a war between India and China just yet. They both have their threats, though, that they're facing. There are pluses and minuses to being in this part of the world. I've talked about it before. I mean, you're facing so many enemies. However, you have a lot of opportunity to grow because if one of your neighbors die, you easily pick that stuff up. We also have Thailand moving in after Indonesia, dangerously close to the island of Java. They might take that over. And man, Puerto Rico now pushing into the Brazilian Empire. Holy crap, where did this come from? Ukraine has taken over a majority of the Balkans. They didn't take modern-day Greece just yet. Okay, and actually the Greeks and Turks, they got back the city of Athens. They didn't lose their capital, but they did have to push it back to Istanbul. Sorry, no, what am I talking about? Their capital was Istanbul / Constantinople, whichever one you want to put it first. I forgot to make that joke in the very beginning. They had to move it back to Ankara, so they were allowed to keep both of their city capitals. We'll see if Kazakhstan can accidentally help the Turks and Greeks by lowering the power that Ukraine has. They just don't have enough friends. Oh man, you do not want to lose a bunch of land to Qatar and the UAE. They're rich nations, so watch it. You guys just really need new friends. You lost all your friends here in Europe. Look at Denmark going Viking mode, taking over all of the British Isles again. Myanmar and India still fighting a big war, although Myanmar is winning. They have a lot of allies in their back, so that helps them only face one front. The Greeks and Turks now fighting another war. There's a lot of different Spanish fronts popping up. It's actually mostly for Corsica and the Italian Peninsula. Another big war. Man, you guys just really need to ally to. Well, Ukraine doesn't like the Greeks and Turks, and I don't think the Greeks and Turks... Oh, you should probably ally to Kazakhstan. That's probably the best scenario. There's now 54 nations left. When did Tanzania take over Madagascar? Okay, so there's a big alliance here in Africa, which is definitely going to cause the Greeks and Turks to have a little bit of problems. Who is this? Oh, that's the U.S. stretching from Alaska, getting this part of Siberia deep in there. Okay, Myanmar actually did finally fall. I thought they had a chance to defeat India, but that is not going to be the case. There we... Oh, this might be bad. Okay, so Greeks and Turks did take out a Central Asian power, but now they're fighting both Kazakhstan and India at the same time. That is kind of scary. They're closer to Delhi than anybody else, though. Money-wise, they're doing okay, but they really need more rich friends, because, yeah, Tunisia and Libya, that's not enough. Actually, if they backstabbed Libya, they could get so much land out of that. The US and Canada are still friends. Also, they do have Puerto Rico on their side. Again, Ukraine and Latvia really helping out the war and keeping Kazakhstan at bay, because they are pretty big. I don't know who's powerful. I think Mongolia might be slightly more powerful at 10,000 gold. You do not want these guys to fall. Well, maybe you want Ukraine to fall because you can get a lot of your territory back, but I think it's going to be Latvia that falls unless there's a peace deal that happens in the next like 2 seconds. And no, there was no peace deal. Now, will they take Kiev? They might take... They are on the doorsteps. They're getting gold. Oh man, that gold. Who did they get gold from? That was Denmark. Denmark might have just saved Kazakhstan, Ukraine's life. They actually stopped Kazakhstan in a big way. Oh, the Greeks and Turks were still fighting down here, Qatar and the UAE. These are like a huge thorn in their side. If they could have a full monopoly over the Arabian Peninsula, they can slowly start to limit the amount of fronts they have to fight in. There's less than 50 nations left, 47. Mexico just declared war on the US. I don't know why I'm messing up these names today. The Mexicans actually took over Puerto Rico. Costa Rica has a monopoly over Central America. Brazil is the major power in South America, that's for sure. Another double front war now with Kazakhstan and India, and they continue to fight. And also, are their allies even giving money away, or do they have enough money to even do that? Will you at least get one kill with Kyrgyzstan? Yep, you got Kyrgyzstan. I said that a little weird. This is a big front. I can't help but root for them. Oh man, they're fighting now in 3 different fronts. You really don't want to fight the African powers, or even Ukraine would be a big problem. These fronts are just barely moving. Okay, they did at least peace out here. India now is fighting. Okay, so India is also fighting 2 fronts, but India is getting dangerously close to taking out Laos. Oh man, the Chinese have broken through. The Chinese are actually... Oh, the Chinese are now fighting 2 different wars. Area-wise, the Greeks and Turks have dropped down to 6th place, I think. Oof, still ahead of the US, but not looking quite as good. Now they're fighting in Africa. This is what's really going to diminish that gold right here. Got to find a way to get better friends. I mean, they're still at 9,000 gold. Libya, unfortunately, is not able to put the team on their back and take out Mauritania for you guys. Now, again, you're fighting the Ukrainians. Luckily, you pieced out there pretty fast. Oh, this might be it for Ukraine. Oh, okay, yeah, they're moving in fast. They're coming in hot. Will Denmark again come in for a save? Oh, who was that just died? Was that Latvia that finally died? Ukrainians are kind of holding their ground. Denmark is helping a little bit against Kazakhstan up here in the Nordic territory. Oh, there's a peace deal, though. There's 44 nations left. Mexico again pushing up through the deep south, really extending the Mexican floor. Oh, never mind. I guess I should have been looking at this because the USA really is not enjoying Mexico's invasion. They are still allied to Canada for now. Canada could easily kill the US whenever they want, I think. Ooh, there's a brief war with South Sudan. I guess South Sudan kind of make a comeback and took out Sudan. They have a lot of friends down here. Oh boy. Wow. Okay, if China falls to Mongolia, they're definitely looking like they'll be the best. Is this Japan up here? How'd they get that territory? There was definitely a Japanese-American war once again, maybe with 2 nukes, I don't know. Greeks and Turks, they really need to re-extend that territory they had of the Balkans. I mean, I guess they have the Italian boot, but really, what's really that going to do for them? Spain is actually allied to these African powers here. Oh boy, now another 2-front war. Just as they started winning against Mauritania, they're also... Ooh, India's fighting fighting in two different fronts. Oh, they had to peace out there fast. Doesn't really matter who loses this. Okay, don't give away too much of your money. Either Ukraine or Kazakhstan, the Greeks and Turks will benefit from either one collapsing. Kind of, but then there's another new power they'd have to watch out for. It's probably better for them if Ukraine somehow takes out Kazakhstan. I mean, the Greek-Turkish Empire, they really need to ally to China. That's what they need to do. Oh man, they lost the Italian peninsula. Now they lost Sicily. Oh my goodness, now they're losing a lot of their territory in North Africa. They were not prepared for this. That is definitely the case. And now Qatar is extending a lot in the Middle East here. They have actually made it to modern-day Iranian territory. Let's see if they can push back and get a little kill. Oh, you were so close. There goes Brazil. Brazil is actually hopped to the Yucatan Peninsula. Mexico might be dying soon. Oh, Canada just united with the USA. This always happens. Canada's going to be a huge threat in this game. Ukraine with a big push getting them away from their capital. Problem is, how many times can the Greeks and Turks move their capital? They still have several cities to move their capital to if they really need to. Oh, they're going to need some big kills here. You really got to finish them off somehow. You got to figure that out. Oh, they're allied to all these African powers. Oh, they did it. Okay, well, that's one less front to worry about, but now South Sudan is really becoming a problem. Fighting, oh my goodness, that is so many fronts. Oh, this is painful to watch. Oh man. Okay, well, with, you know, one new enemy, two enemies collapsing, they now are fighting three new enemies. Oh, okay, well, safe to say they got their Balkan territory back and then some. They now no longer have to worry about that, but they do need to still worry about the African powers that are now coming. Oh man, this is the same issue that both these two empires at their peak had to deal with. I mean, they just have so many enemies they have to fight at the same time. I mean, the Indians and Kazakhstanis, they are still allied to each other, and you don't really have many friends that could hurt South Sudan back here at home. Maybe possibly Somalia. Oh, that helps a little bit. Okay, well, there you go. They don't have to worry about them anymore. Somalia hasn't been a threat too much to the Greeks and Turks, and Libya is your friend. So, and Libya actually has a lot of the US or a lot of European territory, so that's big. They're kind of sharing the load here. This is actually a better setup for the Greeks and Turks, since this is kind of like a human shield, a country shield. Now they're moving up here. Maybe they'll get to Copenhagen. Libya's been pushed out mostly a lot from Europe. Would you just combine with Mauritania just annexed Spain? There's only 21 nations left. That's a big alliance. Oh man, all three of these, India, Kazakhstan, and all of Denmark and Mauritania. Man, you need some better friends. Oh, you know what? You do have some big friends though, but they're not going to help you out that much. Well, maybe they can. Yeah, that's right. Maybe they can hop over here and fight Denmark. There's technically only like 4 or 5 teams maybe. Libya is now actually a big help. Okay, the money is helping. The money back at home definitely helps them a little bit. Oh, Somalia is being slightly aggressive towards the Greeks and Turks. Oh my goodness, there goes China. Okay, so who were the big ally there? Japan is now pretty powerful. Somalia is causing trouble for this alliance, but so is Kazakhstan up here. Unfortunately for the Greeks and Turks, they are on the front lines with Kazakhstan and India. They might be getting a lot of gold, but is that really going to be enough? They're trying to retake the Arabian Peninsula. Somalia, they're on the front lines here. Meanwhile, oh, I didn't even realize that Australia started getting taken over. Is this New Zealand? New Zealand's being aggressive. Oh, Australia has all this. Australia and Japan are allied. Canada is island hopping, and maybe they can help a little bit against Kazakhstan because the Greeks and Turks need a lot of help. There's 15 nations left. Statistically, area-wise, Canada is winning, and the Greek-Turkish Empire, I should have just called them Greek-Turk. I can't even say the word. Libya's really got to figure out how to destroy Mauritania. They're close. What is this flashing thing? Do they need to get this back immediately or what? That's interesting. India's now fighting against the Japanese. The Japanese closing in on that Mongolian capital. Ooh, the problem is the Canadians over here as well. Don't want the Japanese to get all of this though. By having the Canadians come to help out against Kazakhstan. Oh, they're approaching Delhi. They're getting very close to Delhi. Oh my goodness, Japan. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so there goes Mongolia. Japan is getting thick. This is a really thick Japanese empire, especially since they're allied to the Australians. That really helps them down there. Now, will they be able to both wombo combo India? Do not let Japan take all of India. That would be a problem. Okay, the Greeks and Turks are actually doing better than Canada. Luckily, Kazakhstan. Okay, so when are the Japanese going to start fighting Kazakhstan? Oh, you just let all of India collapse to the Japanese. That is a problem. Australia has backstabbed Japan, so that's going to lead to some problems. Brazil does not have a monopoly over South America just yet. Oh, there's only alliances in the Americas. Wow, this is insane. They're just feeding the Greeks and the Turks here. Oh, now we have two. We have the Kazakhstanis going after Japan because I think Japan was briefly the #1 power in terms of area. Man, Somalia is really getting so much gold from the DR of Congo. The Greeks and Turks, they are actually very close to finally taking Almaty, or is it Almaty? I can't remember what the capital is here. They might be able to get it, but you need the Japanese to not fall because the Japanese were doing... oh, and there we go. Bam. This is huge. This is huge. Now, will you keep your alliances because they're going to get really big after this? Also, you really need to focus on taking out Somalia at some point. India moved their capital is Sri Lanka, so that's going to get way harder to get to. Oh yeah, the alliances are all breaking down. Okay, so actually, wait, are you guys allied? Yes. Greece and Turkey allied to Japan. Japan is not as strong as they were like maybe years ago. Oh, actually, they're kicking out the Canadians over this way. You actually only have one friend, which is maybe not the best situation. Brazil now has all of South America and all of Latin America in general. Oh, big world wars now. Big world wars are happening. Area-wise, it's Canada, then it's the Greeks and Turks in second place. Japan not too far behind. Former alliance between Libya has finally broken. Man, they were allied to Libya for most of this game. Oh, that's a problem. If Somalia collapses, this is their big enemy now. Funny enough, these two are the biggest rivals. Australia has their capital firmly here in, formerly Brunei, I think. Is this New Zealand that's moving into Brazilian territory? What is going on? And the Libyans have ran out of money. Greece and Turkey was so close to getting there, and they did eventually. So now it is, who are you allied to? You're allied to New Zealand, weirdly, still the Japanese, and, that's just two of them. That's it. There's 7 nations left. I really wish you guys were not using these same colors. There's really only 2 big teams. I cannot believe Brazil is losing to New Zealand over here. This is crazy. And there goes Australia finally. New Zealand's gonna get a bunch of new strength here. Japan got a lot of that stuff though. Now, if this alliance doesn't break down for the Greeks and Turks, they might not. I mean, when you're in the middle of the map, you're kind of at a pretty big disadvantage, but everything's different with the crossing here. I mean, obviously New Zealand is in South America. They're still having to fight so many different fronts though. Luckily, they're getting fed a lot of money. Oh man, New Zealand's running out of money. They're giving away a lot of their money, and Japan also is starting to run out of money too here. Oh, did you break up? Oh my goodness. I don't know who broke the alliance, but that is not good. Only having, okay, well, they're back to being friends for now. 3,000 gold. Still here in Ankara. The capital is anyways. They're stretching pretty close. They're actually pretty close to that DR Congo capital. She kicked out the Canadians from this part of the territory. They're actually moving into Greenland. Oh my goodness, did Canada run out of money? Yes, they did. They probably will peace out. Yeah, I knew they were going to peace out. Oh yeah, if you just keep declaring wars on them though, that's the big difference. That will make a difference. If you keep going and keep going, you probably don't want to let Brazil, Greeks, Turks, you're probably going to want to do something. Don't let them, okay, whatever. Brazil is now a major power. I don't even know how New Zealand is continuing this. Canada's still alive, but it's pretty much over because, well, yeah, they're going to get, yeah, okay. Well, Brazil took most of North America. That is the big issue here. Congo have been deleted. There are now 4 countries left. This is an interesting 4 last countries, and also the alliances are looking pretty weird. There's a Brazilian alliance here with, oh boy, that might be it. Did you run out of money? Oh, I thought you were going to run out of money here. Who has the least amount of money? It might be the Japanese. It might be the blue side, Japan and New Zealand. Does Brazil have a lot of gold? No. Okay, it's going to come down to the very end. So far, the Greeks and Turks are losing land. Oh, but the Brazilians have made it to the Japanese islands. Oh, it's over. Oh, are they going to take all this? Yeah, that mostly went to just Brazil. Oh, crap. And here goes New Zealand. It's going to go to Brazil, too. Brazil definitely has the advantage here. Or do they? Who's going to run out of money first? They might. Oh, Brazil did run out of money, but will they be able to get enough? It depends. Brazil keeps getting into wars. As long as the Greeks and Turks continue to fight wars and killing that economy, oh man, you gotta stop piecing out though. I don't see how they're just gonna magically come up upon more money. They might be able to win this just because they have 1,000 gold. I cannot believe this. They did make it a modern day Brazil. I thought just because Brazil took all that territory that it was pretty much over for the Greeks and Turks. Well, and there you go. I did not expect to see that, but they actually won. Maybe this is why the rivalry is so important, because they know if they teamed up like this, they would take over the entire globe. Like I said, be sure to use that top link in the description down below to makeship.com. Maybe you have this very same thing happen in your own house if you want that sort of thing. I don't know. And big thanks to my patrons.
DruuuWu, your dad back with chimney look outside.
Kansas was mentioned. Douchebag, fat Norwell, Carmel, amateur archaeology, the beautiful Megan, Edward, Underwood, Frederick, Headland, without Inquisitor, Straven's John, Reno is best Lugs and girls, heavy ride the pie. I love the Mexican 760 and Zany Boy.